In the heart of the ancient world, there existed a land that would forever change the course of human history. This land was called Mesopotamia, a name that translates to land between the rivers. Located in modern-day Iraq, Mesopotamia was a region of unparalleled fertility, situated between the majestic Tigris and Euphrates rivers. It was here, in this cradle of civilization, that some of the earliest societies in human history would rise, and in doing so lay the foundations for the modern world. As we delve into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's essential to consider why this region was so uniquely suited for the development of complex societies. The answer lies in its geography. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which flowed through the heart of Mesopotamia, provided a reliable source of water for irrigation and drinking. This, in turn, allowed the early inhabitants of this region to cultivate crops and establish settled agricultural communities. The fertile soil and favorable climate made it an ideal place for the growth of cities and the rise of civilizations. The strategic location of Mesopotamia also played a crucial role in its development. As a crossroads between the East and the West, Mesopotamia became a hub of trade and cultural exchange. Merchants from distant lands would travel through this region, bringing with them exotic goods, ideas, and innovations. The early inhabitants of Mesopotamia were quick to adapt and adopt these new technologies, incorporating them into their own societies and using them to further advance their own development. One of the most significant contributions of ancient Mesopotamia to human history was the invention of writing. The development of cuneiform script, around 3500 BCE, marked a revolutionary moment in human communication. With the ability to record laws, trade agreements, and stories, the early Mesopotamians were able to create a written record of their history, paving the way for future generations to learn from their experiences. As we explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we'll encounter a complex and fascinating society, full of contradictions and paradoxes. We'll see how the early Mesopotamians developed sophisticated systems of government, law, and architecture, yet struggled with issues of social inequality, slavery, and conflict. We'll examine the role of women in ancient Mesopotamian society and how they contributed to the development of art, literature, and culture. We'll also explore the mythology and legends of this ancient civilization and how they continue to influence our modern world. Before we start our journey through the ancient world, take a moment to consider how you'd like to engage with this content. If you found this introduction to ancient Mesopotamia informative and engaging, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts below. Your input and feedback will help us create even more compelling content for you. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like to explore further, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to learn and grow together. As we begin our exploration of ancient Mesopotamia, let's take a moment to appreciate the significance of this region. From the earliest Sumerian cities to the rise of Babylon and Assyria, Mesopotamia was a crucible of human civilization. It was here that the earliest known code of laws, the Code of Hammurabi, was created, and where the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest surviving works of literature, was penned. The legacy of ancient Mesopotamia continues to shape our modern world, from the laws and governance systems we use today to the very language we speak. In the next section of our journey, we'll delve deeper into the history and culture of ancient Mesopotamia, exploring the daily life of its inhabitants, their social structures, and their contributions to the arts and sciences. We'll examine the role of trade and commerce in shaping the Mesopotamian economy, and how the region's strategic location facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas. We'll also explore the rise and fall of various Mesopotamian civilizations, and how they interacted with their neighbors and the wider world. So, let's take our first step into the ancient world and discover the secrets of Mesopotamia. What was life like for the people who lived in this fascinating region? How did they organize their societies, govern themselves, and interact with one another? And what can we learn from their experiences as we navigate the complexities of our own modern world? Join me as we embark on this journey of discovery and uncover the hidden treasures of ancient Mesopotamia. As we explore the daily life of ancient Mesopotamians, we'll encounter a society that was both familiar and alien to our modern experience. We'll see how these early humans lived, worked, and interacted with one another, and how their social structures and institutions shaped their lives. We'll examine the role of family and community in ancient Mesopotamia, and how these relationships influenced their social and cultural practices. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the architecture and engineering feats of ancient Mesopotamia. We'll marvel at the grandeur of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and the sophistication of the ziggurats and temples that dotted the Mesopotamian landscape. We'll examine the role of technology in shaping the Mesopotamian way of life, from the development of irrigation systems to the creation of sophisticated agricultural tools. As we delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we'll encounter a complex and multifaceted society, full of contradictions and paradoxes. We'll see how the early Mesopotamians developed sophisticated systems of governance, law, and architecture, yet struggled with issues of social inequality, slavery, and conflict. We'll examine the role of women in ancient Mesopotamian society and how they contributed to the development of art, literature, and culture. The legacy of ancient Mesopotamia continues to shape our modern world, from the laws and governance systems we use today to the very language we speak. As we explore the daily life, culture, and achievements of this ancient civilization, we'll gain a deeper understanding of the complexities and challenges of human history, and how they continue to influence our lives today. As we near the end of our journey through ancient Mesopotamia, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've explored the daily life of ancient Mesopotamians, their social structures, and their contributions to the arts and sciences. We've examined the role of trade and commerce in shaping the Mesopotamian economy, and how the region's strategic location facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas. We've also explored the rise and fall of various Mesopotamian civilizations, and how they interacted with their neighbors and the wider world. In the final part of our journey, we'll explore the lasting impact of ancient Mesopotamia on modern society. We'll examine the ways in which the legacy of this ancient civilization continues to shape our laws, governance systems, and language. We'll also explore the relevance of ancient Mesopotamian culture and achievements to our modern world, and how they continue to inspire and inform us today. As we conclude our journey through ancient Mesopotamia, I hope you've gained a deeper understanding of this fascinating civilization and its enduring impact on human history. From the earliest Sumerian cities to the rise of Babylon and Assyria, Mesopotamia was a crucible of human civilization, shaping the course of human history in countless ways. Its legacy continues to inspire and inform us today, and as we look to the future, we would do well to remember the lessons of the past. Before we finish, take a moment to consider how you'd like to engage with this content. If you found this journey through ancient Mesopotamia informative and engaging, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts below. Your input and feedback will help us create even more compelling content for you. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like to explore further, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to learn and grow together. As we bring our journey through ancient Mesopotamia to a close, I want to leave you with a sense of wonder and awe at the achievements of this ancient civilization. From the invention of writing to the development of sophisticated systems of governance and law, Mesopotamia was a society that was ahead of its time, and whose legacy continues to shape our modern world. Join me as we continue to explore the wonders of human history and discover the secrets of ancient civilizations that continue to inspire and inform us today. Let's get started on the next part of our journey through ancient Mesopotamia. As we continue our journey into the ancient world, it's time to delve deeper into what life was like in Mesopotamia, a land that would leave an indelible mark on human civilization. Before we start, I want to invite you to join me on this fascinating journey by considering subscribing to our channel and commenting your thoughts below. Your engagement will help us create more content that sparks curiosity and inspires learning. As we explore the cradle of civilization, it's essential to understand the context in which people lived, worked, and thrived. So, let's begin with what we know about ancient Mesopotamia. Archaeological discoveries have been instrumental in uncovering the remains of ancient cities, including Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh. These excavations have revealed a complex and sophisticated society that was far more advanced than previously thought. Imagine walking through the bustling streets of Ur, the ancient city that was once the capital of the Sumerian civilization. The city's ruins tell the story of a thriving metropolis, with impressive architecture, advanced irrigation systems, and a rich cultural heritage. The Sumerians were master builders who constructed temples, palaces, and ziggurats that seemed to touch the sky. Their cities were a testament to their ingenuity and creativity. One of the most significant archaeological discoveries in recent history is the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest surviving works of literature. This ancient epic poem tells the story of Gilgamesh, a king who embarked on a quest for immortality. The Epic of Gilgamesh is a masterpiece of literature that has captivated readers for millennia, and its influence can still be seen in modern literature today. The fact that this ancient work has endured for so long is a testament to the power of storytelling and the human desire to connect with each other through art. But what makes ancient Mesopotamia so fascinating is not just its rich cultural heritage, but also its groundbreaking innovations. The region was a hotbed of technological advancements that would change the course of human history. The invention of writing, the wheel, and the plow were all innovations that emerged in Mesopotamia. The invention of writing allowed for the recording of laws, business transactions, and literature, while the wheel revolutionized transportation and trade. The plow, on the other hand, allowed for the cultivation of crops on a larger scale, leading to increased food production and population growth. The wheel, in particular, had a profound impact on ancient Mesopotamian society. It enabled the creation of more complex societies, with specialized labor and trade networks that stretched across the region. The wheel also facilitated the movement of goods and people, allowing for the exchange of ideas and cultures. As the wheel turned, so did the course of human history. As we explore the daily life of ancient Mesopotamians, it's clear that they were a resourceful and hardworking people. They lived in cities that were often surrounded by walls, with narrow streets and crowded marketplaces. The air was thick with the smells of cooking, animal husbandry, and waste disposal. But despite the challenges, ancient Mesopotamians were a vibrant and creative people who found joy in the simple things in life. In the next section, we'll delve deeper into the daily life of ancient Mesopotamians, exploring their social hierarchies, economic systems, and cultural practices. We'll discover how they lived, worked, and interacted with each other, and what we can learn from their experiences. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible achievements of ancient Mesopotamia. As we pause to reflect on the history of this ancient civilization, let's remember that there's still so much to learn and discover. Archaeologists are constantly uncovering new evidence, and historians are reevaluating the existing narrative. The story of ancient Mesopotamia is a rich and complex one, full of surprises and revelations. And as we continue to explore this fascinating topic, we'll uncover more secrets, more surprises, and more insights into what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. But before we move on, let's take a moment to appreciate the significance of ancient Mesopotamia. This civilization laid the foundations for modern society, from law and governance to literature and art. It's a testament to the power of human creativity and innovation, and a reminder that even the most ancient civilizations can continue to inspire and educate us today. As we move forward, let's keep in mind the importance of understanding our shared human history. By exploring the past, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities and challenges of human existence. And by learning from the successes and failures of ancient civilizations, we can create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. So, what do you think? What would you like to know more about ancient Mesopotamia? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this fascinating journey together. As we venture deeper into the ancient world, it's time to explore what life was like in Mesopotamia, a land that would leave an indelible mark on human civilization. Located between the majestic Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia was a region of unparalleled fertility, where the soil was rich and the climate was mild. But what was life like for the people who called this land home? In this section, we'll delve into the daily lives of Mesopotamians, from the farmers who toiled in the fields to the artisans who crafted beautiful works of art. Before we start, I want to invite you to join me on this fascinating journey by considering subscribing. Your thoughts and comments are invaluable to me, and I'd love to hear your perspectives on what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. So, let's get started and explore the daily lives of Mesopotamians. As we explore what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, it's essential to remember that most people lived in cities, with the largest city, Babylon, boasting a population of over 200,000 inhabitants. But life in these cities was not just about living in close quarters. It was also about working together to create a thriving community. In Mesopotamia, most residents were farmers or artisans, with many families owning small plots of land or working as craftsmen. These individuals were the backbone of Mesopotamian society, providing for their families and contributing to the overall well-being of the community. One of the most interesting aspects of Mesopotamian society was the role of women. Unlike many ancient civilizations, women in Mesopotamia were not confined to the home, but rather played a significant role in society. They owned property, participated in trade, and even worked as priests and judges. In fact, some women even held positions of power, serving as advisors to kings and nobles. This level of equality was rare in ancient times, making Mesopotamia a fascinating case study for historians and anthropologists alike. However, social hierarchy was strict in Mesopotamia, with kings, priests, and nobles at the top of the social ladder. These individuals held significant power and influence, and their decisions often determined the course of the community. Below them were the artisans and farmers, who worked hard to provide for their families and contribute to the community. At the bottom of the social hierarchy were the slaves, who were often prisoners of war or individuals who had fallen into debt. Life as a slave was brutal, with many being forced to work long hours in harsh conditions. Despite these social divisions, Mesopotamian society was surprisingly complex and multifaceted. The city of Babylon, for example, was a hub of cultural and intellectual activity, with scholars and poets coming from all over to share their ideas and learn from one another. The ancient Mesopotamians were also skilled engineers, building sophisticated irrigation systems and temples that still stand today. Their legacy can be seen in the many innovations they developed, from the wheel to the plow, which revolutionized agriculture and transportation. As we explore what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, it's essential to remember that this was a society that valued education and knowledge. The ancient Mesopotamians were some of the first people to develop a written language, with cuneiform script being used for thousands of years. They also developed a system of mathematics that included the concept of zero, which was a major breakthrough in mathematical understanding. But what did everyday life look like for a Mesopotamian? Let's take a closer look at the daily routine of a typical family. A family living in ancient Mesopotamia would wake up early, before sunrise, to begin their day. The father would head out to the fields to tend to the crops, while the mother would start preparing breakfast for the family. Children would help with chores, such as feeding the animals or collecting firewood. After breakfast, the family would head to the city to engage in trade or work on their crafts. As we explore what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, it's essential to remember that this was a society that valued community and cooperation. Despite the strict social hierarchy, the Mesopotamians worked together to build a thriving community. They shared their knowledge, skills, and resources to create a society that was rich in culture and innovation. But what can we learn from ancient Mesopotamia today? How can we apply the lessons of the past to our modern lives? One of the most significant takeaways from Mesopotamia is the importance of community and cooperation. By working together and sharing our knowledge and resources, we can build stronger, more resilient communities that are better equipped to face the challenges of the future. As we conclude this section on what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, I want to leave you with a question. What can we learn from the daily lives of Mesopotamians? How can we apply the lessons of the past to our modern lives? Share your thoughts and comments below, and let's continue the conversation. If you found this video informative and engaging, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Your support means the world to me, and I'm grateful for your interest in ancient Mesopotamia. And finally, before we move on to the next section, I want to thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey into the ancient world. Remember, the history of Mesopotamia is a story of innovation, creativity, and resilience, and one that continues to inspire us today. Join me next time as we explore another chapter in the history of ancient civilizations. Imagine walking through the bustling streets of ancient Mesopotamia, the warm sun beating down on your skin as you take in the sights and sounds of this ancient civilization. The air is thick with the smell of freshly baked bread. The sound of hammering on metal echoes through the air, and the vibrant colors of the market stalls catch your eye. As you wander through the crowds, you begin to get a glimpse into what life was like in this incredible place. From the food on the table to the clothes on their backs, the people of Mesopotamia lived in a world that was vastly different from our own, yet somehow surprisingly familiar. As we continue our exploration of ancient Mesopotamia, it's time to take a closer look at what life was like on a daily basis. But before we start, take a moment to consider joining me on this fascinating journey. If you're new to this channel, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all our latest videos. And as always, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment below and share your thoughts with the community. Now, let's dive back into ancient Mesopotamia and explore what life was like for the people who called this place home. As we've learned before, Mesopotamia was a land of unparalleled fertility, where the soil was rich and the rivers provided a reliable source of water. But what did this mean for the people who lived here? How did they use the resources available to them to build their lives, their communities, and their civilizations? One of the most fundamental aspects of life in ancient Mesopotamia was food. What did people eat, and how did they grow and prepare the food they needed to survive? To answer this question, we need to look at some of the staple crops of the region, and one of the most important of these was barley. Barley was a versatile crop that was used to make a variety of different foods, from bread to beer to animal feed. In fact, barley was so important that it was often used as a form of currency, with people trading it for other goods and services. But barley wasn't the only food that people in ancient Mesopotamia ate. Meat was also a significant part of their diet, although it was a luxury that was reserved for special occasions. Beef and mutton were the most prized meats, and they were often served at festivals and celebrations. However, meat was not as common as other foods, and people in ancient Mesopotamia had to rely on other sources of protein, such as fish from the rivers and birds that lived in the surrounding countryside. Fruits, vegetables, and legumes were also widely consumed in ancient Mesopotamia. People grew a variety of different crops, including dates, figs, and grapes, which were used to make sweet treats and refreshing drinks. They also cultivated vegetables like onions, garlic, and beans, which added flavor and nutrition to their meals. And with the Tigris and Euphrates rivers running through the heart of the region, fish and other aquatic foods were also an important part of the diet. Now, you might be wondering how people in ancient Mesopotamia cooked their food. Did they have access to modern cooking techniques, or did they rely on more traditional methods? The answer is a bit of both. While we don't know a lot about the cooking techniques of ancient Mesopotamia, we do know that they had access to a variety of different cooking methods, including baking, boiling, and roasting. But what about the utensils and tools that people used to prepare and eat their food? We know that ancient Mesopotamians used a variety of different tools, including clay pots and pans, wooden spoons and spatulas, and even metal knives and forks. And with the importance of bread in their diet, it's no surprise that we find evidence of bread-making tools, like stone grinders and clay ovens, in many ancient Mesopotamian settlements. As we continue to explore what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, it's clear that food played a central role in the daily lives of its people. From the staple crops that grew in the fertile soil to the cooking techniques that were used to prepare and eat the food, every aspect of food production and consumption was deeply intertwined with the culture and traditions of this ancient civilization. But before we move on to the next topic, take a moment to consider the significance of food in your own life. How do you eat, and what does food mean to you? Do you have a favorite dish or cuisine that you love to share with friends and family? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. As we look back on what we've learned about food in ancient Mesopotamia, it's clear that this topic is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to explore, from the social and cultural significance of food to the economic and environmental factors that shaped the food system. But for now, let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned. Barley was a staple crop that was used to make a variety of different foods, including bread, beer, and animal feed. Meat was a luxury that was reserved for special occasions, and fruits, vegetables, and legumes were also widely consumed. And with the importance of bread in their diet, it's no surprise that we find evidence of bread-making tools in many ancient Mesopotamian settlements. As we move forward in our exploration of ancient Mesopotamia, I want to encourage you to think critically about the food system and how it shaped the daily lives of its people. How did food influence their culture and traditions? How did it shape their relationships with one another? And what can we learn from this ancient civilization about the importance of food in our own lives? The answers to these questions will take us on a fascinating journey through the history and culture of ancient Mesopotamia, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. Before we start the next section, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment below and share your thoughts with the community. Let's keep the conversation going, and I'll see you in the next video. In the sweltering heat of the ancient world, life in Mesopotamia was a complex tapestry woven from threads of culture, trade, and technological innovation. This land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where the fertile soil and abundant water supply made it an oasis in the desert, would give birth to some of the most remarkable achievements in human history. As we delve deeper into the heart of this ancient civilization, we're going to explore the intricacies of daily life, and today, we'll be focusing on the fascinating world of housing and architecture in Mesopotamia. Before we start, if you're new to this channel, be sure to consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, as we'll be exploring many more captivating topics in the world of ancient history. Your thoughts and comments are invaluable to us, so feel free to share your insights and ask questions in the comments section below. Let's get started and uncover the secrets of life in ancient Mesopotamia. Housing in Mesopotamia was a reflection of the region's unique cultural and environmental context. Cities were built with mud brick houses, often with flat roofs and narrow streets that were designed to withstand the harsh desert climate. The use of mud bricks was a testament to the ingenuity of the Mesopotamians, who had developed a sophisticated system for drying and firing these bricks to create durable and long-lasting structures. As you can imagine, these mud brick houses must have been quite different from the grand palaces and temples that dotted the landscape. But let's not forget about the grandeur of Mesopotamian architecture. Palaces and temples were made of stone, with intricate carvings and frescoes that told the stories of the gods and goddesses worshipped by the Mesopotamians. The use of stone was a significant departure from the mud brick houses, and it's a testament to the advanced craftsmanship and engineering skills of the Mesopotamians. These grand structures were not only impressive but also served as centers of power and worship, where the ruling elite would make grand decisions and perform sacred rituals. One of the most fascinating aspects of Mesopotamian architecture is the ziggurat, a stepped pyramid that was a characteristic feature of the region. The ziggurat was a massive structure that rose like a giant staircase into the sky, and it was often dedicated to the worship of a particular god or goddess. The ziggurat was more than just a magnificent sight. It was a symbol of the power and prestige of the ruling elite, who would often build these structures to solidify their grip on power. The ziggurat step design was also a clever engineering feat, as it allowed for the construction of a large and stable platform that could be used for various purposes. As we explore the ziggurat, we're reminded of the advanced engineering skills of the Mesopotamians. These people were master builders who had developed a sophisticated understanding of mathematics, architecture, and engineering. They were able to construct massive structures that would stand the test of time, and their innovations in this field would have a lasting impact on the development of human civilization. The ziggurat step design, for example, was a precursor to the development of modern skyscrapers, and its use of mud bricks and stone was a testament to the resourcefulness of the Mesopotamians. But what about the everyday people who lived in these incredible structures? How did they live, work, and interact with one another in the midst of this grand architecture? Let's take a closer look at the lives of the ordinary people of Mesopotamia and explore the ways in which they navigated the complexities of their daily lives. From the bustling streets of the city to the quiet villages on the outskirts, we'll delve into the world of the common people and uncover the secrets of their daily lives. In the next section, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of food and drink in ancient Mesopotamia. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible achievements of the Mesopotamians, who built a civilization that would last for centuries and leave an indelible mark on human history. From the grand palaces and temples to the humble mud-brick houses, Mesopotamia was a land of wonder and discovery, where the boundaries of human ingenuity were constantly being pushed. As we continue our journey through the ancient world, remember to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on the latest videos and topics. Your engagement and support are invaluable to us, and we look forward to sharing more of our knowledge and insights with you. Until next time, farewell and thank you for watching. As we continue our journey through the ancient world, let's take a moment to appreciate the vast and intricate tapestry that was life in Mesopotamia. From the bustling streets of Babylon to the ancient cities of Ur and Uruk, the people of Mesopotamia lived in a world that was both familiar and foreign. Imagine walking through the crowded marketplaces, taking in the sights and sounds of merchants hawking their wares, the smell of fresh bread wafting through the air, and the distant chime of temple bells. Life in Mesopotamia was a complex and rich experience, full of wonder and discovery. But before we start, take a moment to consider subscribing to our channel and commenting your thoughts on this video. Your engagement is what keeps us creating, and we'd love to hear your insights on the ancient world. As we delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, let's focus on one of the most fascinating aspects of their lives: transportation and trade. The Mesopotamians were master traders, exchanging goods with distant lands and cultures across the ancient world. From the mighty rivers of Egypt to the bustling ports of Greece, Mesopotamia's merchants were known for their cunning and their ability to navigate the complex web of trade routes. Now, one of the most significant innovations in Mesopotamian transportation was the invention of the wheel. This simple yet revolutionary device allowed for the creation of carts, wagons, and other vehicles that could carry goods across the vast distances of the ancient world. Imagine the impact of this innovation on trade. Suddenly, merchants could transport goods across the desert, to distant cities, and even to other continents. The wheel was a game-changer, and it's a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the Mesopotamians. But the wheel was just one part of a much larger system of transportation and trade that stretched across the ancient world. Mesopotamia's merchants were skilled navigators, using the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to transport goods to distant lands. They built elaborate networks of canals and dams, allowing them to control the flow of water and maximize their trade potential. And they developed sophisticated systems of measurement and accounting, enabling them to track their goods and finances with ease. One of the most fascinating aspects of Mesopotamian trade was the extent to which it stretched across the ancient world. Merchants from Mesopotamia traveled to distant lands, exchanging goods with cultures as diverse as Egypt, Greece, and the Indus Valley civilization. They traded in a vast array of commodities, from grains and textiles to metals and precious stones. And they developed complex systems of credit and finance, allowing them to conduct trade on a global scale. But how did they manage to navigate the complex web of trade routes and negotiate with merchants from distant lands? The answer lies in the use of boats and rafts, which enabled them to transport goods along the rivers and canals of Mesopotamia. These vessels were often simple but sturdy, designed to withstand the harsh conditions of the ancient world. And they were crewed by skilled sailors and traders, who knew the waters and the trade routes like the back of their hand. As we explore the world of ancient Mesopotamian trade, it's worth noting the significance of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These mighty waterways were the lifeblood of Mesopotamian trade, providing a network of canals and waterways that connected the city-states and civilizations of the ancient world. And they enabled the Mesopotamians to transport goods across vast distances, often over long periods of time. One of the most striking aspects of Mesopotamian trade was the extent to which it was driven by the desire for luxury goods. Merchants from Mesopotamia sought out exotic commodities like lapis lazuli, gold, and precious stones, which they used to adorn their cities and temples, and they traded in a wide range of goods, from fine textiles to delicate ceramics. which they used to display their wealth and status. But Mesopotamian trade was not without its challenges. The ancient world was a complex and often hostile environment, full of rival merchants, bandits, and other dangers. And the Mesopotamians had to navigate a complex web of trade agreements and alliances, which often shifted and changed from year to year. As we come to the end of this section on transportation and trade in ancient Mesopotamia, let's take a moment to reflect on the significance of this topic. The Mesopotamians were master traders, using their ingenuity and creativity to build complex systems of transportation and trade that stretched across the ancient world. And their innovations, like the wheel and the use of boats and rafts, had a profound impact on the course of human history. But there's still more to explore in the world of ancient Mesopotamia. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the mysteries of this ancient civilization and discover the secrets that lie hidden beneath the sands of time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos on ancient history, and leave your comments below with your thoughts on this video. In the sweltering heat of the ancient world, life in Mesopotamia was a complex tapestry woven from threads of culture, trade, and technological innovation. This land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where the fertile soil and abundant water supply made it an oasis in the desert, would give birth to some of the most fascinating civilizations in human history. From the majestic ziggurats of Ur to the bustling streets of Babylon, Mesopotamia was a melting pot of cultures, where East met West and the ancient world came alive. As we continue our journey through the ancient world, let's take a moment to appreciate the vast and intricate tapestry that was life in Mesopotamia. From the mighty rivers that cradled its cities to the desert landscapes that stretched beyond its borders, Mesopotamia was a land of contrasts, where the harsh realities of life were tempered by the ingenuity and creativity of its people. But one of the most fascinating aspects of life in Mesopotamia was its social hierarchy, a complex system of kings, queens, priests, nobles, slaves, and servants that governed every aspect of life in these ancient cities. And so, before we start our exploration of this fascinating topic, why not consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment below with your thoughts? Your input will help us create more engaging content that you'll love. And who knows, you might just learn something new that'll change your perspective on the ancient world forever. Now, let's dive into the world of ancient Mesopotamia and explore the social hierarchy that defined this fascinating civilization. At the very top of the social ladder were the kings and queens, who held absolute power with a divine right to rule. These monarchs were seen as gods on earth, with the power to make or break the lives of their subjects. They were the ultimate authority, and their word was law. But who were these rulers, and how did they maintain their power over their subjects? Well, one of the key factors was the concept of divinity. In Mesopotamian society, the king was seen as a divine being, chosen by the gods to rule over his people. This divine right to rule was reinforced by the royal family's control over the temple system, where priests and priestesses performed rituals and sacrifices to maintain the balance of the universe. By linking their power to the divine, the monarchs of Mesopotamia were able to maintain their control over their subjects, who saw them as agents of the gods. But the king wasn't the only one who played a significant role in governance and commerce. Priests and nobles also held important positions within the social hierarchy. These high-ranking officials were responsible for overseeing trade, commerce, and agriculture, and they often held significant influence over the king and queen. They were the power brokers of ancient Mesopotamia, and their decisions had far-reaching consequences for the city-state. Now, you might be wondering what happened to the people who weren't part of the ruling elite. Well, in ancient Mesopotamia, a significant portion of the population was made up of slaves and servants. These individuals were at the very bottom of the social ladder, forced to work long hours in difficult conditions to maintain the lifestyle of their masters. They were the backbone of ancient Mesopotamian society, but they were also the most vulnerable to exploitation and oppression. One of the most interesting things about the social hierarchy in ancient Mesopotamia was the concept of social mobility. While the king and queen held absolute power, there were opportunities for individuals to rise through the ranks, especially if they were born into a noble or priestly family. In fact, Some of the most famous Mesopotamian leaders, such as Hammurabi and Sargon, were born into humble circumstances but rose to become some of the most powerful figures in the ancient world. So, what can we learn from the social hierarchy of ancient Mesopotamia? One of the most important lessons is the importance of social mobility and the opportunities for individuals to rise through the ranks. But it's also a reminder of the risks of unchecked power and the dangers of exploitation and oppression. As we continue our journey through the ancient world, we'll explore more fascinating topics, such as the rise of cities, the development of writing, and the impact of trade and commerce on ancient societies. But before we move on, let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned so far. In ancient Mesopotamia, the king and queen held absolute power, with a divine right to rule. Priests and nobles played important roles in governance and commerce, while slaves and servants made up a significant portion of the population. And while social mobility was possible, those at the bottom of the social ladder were often vulnerable to exploitation and oppression. So, what do you think? Did you find this topic as fascinating as we did? Do you have any questions or comments about the social hierarchy of ancient Mesopotamia? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more engaging content that'll take you on a journey through the ancient world. And if you're feeling generous, consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can access exclusive content, early access to new videos, and more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. As we journey through the ancient world, it's easy to get caught up in the grandeur of cities like Babylon and the majesty of the great ziggurat. But what about the people who lived in these incredible civilizations? What life was like for them, day in and day out, is a fascinating tale that reveals the complexities and nuances of ancient Mesopotamia. Today, we're going to take a closer look at one of the most fascinating groups in this ancient society: women. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Your engagement is what makes this content possible, and we appreciate your support. Also, be sure to check out our previous sections on transportation and trade, as well as social hierarchy and class structure, to get a more comprehensive understanding of life in ancient Mesopotamia. Women in ancient Mesopotamia were far more than just passive bystanders in the grand narrative of history. In fact, they enjoyed a level of relative equality that was unmatched in many other ancient civilizations. They were allowed to own property, participate in trade, and even take on roles of authority in their communities. This is a testament to the advanced social structures that existed in Mesopotamia, where women were valued for their contributions and agency. One of the most striking examples of women's equality in ancient Mesopotamia can be seen in the Code of Hammurabi, one of the oldest surviving law codes in the world. This code, which dates back to around 1754 BCE, outlines the rights and responsibilities of women in ancient Babylonian society. According to the code, women were granted the right to own property, including land, livestock, and even slaves. They were also allowed to participate in trade, including the purchase and sale of goods. But women's equality wasn't just limited to property ownership and trade. They also played a significant role in mythology and literature, with female deities and heroines featuring prominently in ancient Mesopotamian myths. One of the most famous examples is the goddess Ishtar, who was worshipped as a powerful symbol of fertility, love, and war. Ishtar's mythological exploits were often depicted in epic poems and hymns, which showcased her strength and agency as a female leader. In addition to their role in mythology, women also played a significant part in ancient Mesopotamian literature. The epic poem, The Descent of Inanna, is a prime example, where the goddess Inanna journeys to the underworld, encountering various challenges and obstacles along the way. This poem not only showcases Inanna's bravery and cunning but also highlights the importance of women's roles in ancient Mesopotamian society. Despite their relative equality, women's rights and status varied across different cities and regions in ancient Mesopotamia. In some areas, women were granted more rights and freedoms than in others. For example, in the city of Uruk, women were allowed to serve as temple priestesses, while in other cities, they were relegated to more subservient roles. One of the most famous examples of a woman's status in ancient Mesopotamia is the Sumerian queen Enheduanna. As the high priestess of the moon god Nanna, Enheduanna was granted a level of authority and power that was unmatched by many of her contemporaries. Her writings and hymns, which have survived to this day, offer a unique glimpse into the life and times of ancient Mesopotamian women. In conclusion, women in ancient Mesopotamia were far more than just passive bystanders in the grand narrative of history. They were active participants with rights, freedoms, and agency that were unmatched in many other ancient civilizations. From their roles in mythology and literature to their participation in trade and property ownership, women played a significant part in shaping the course of ancient Mesopotamian society. As we continue our journey through this fascinating world, we'll explore more of the complexities and nuances that made life in ancient Mesopotamia so rich and rewarding. If you're interested in learning more about life in ancient Mesopotamia, be sure to check out our next section on the role of women in ancient Mesopotamian art and architecture. We'll explore the ways in which women were depicted in art and the significance of their representation in ancient Mesopotamian culture. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Imagine walking through the bustling streets of ancient Mesopotamia, surrounded by the sounds of merchants hawking their wares, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, and the sight of people from all walks of life going about their daily business. It's easy to get caught up in the grandeur of cities like Babylon and the majesty of the Great Ziggurat, but what about the people who lived in these incredible civilizations? What life was like for them, day in and day out, is a fascinating topic that we've only scratched the surface of so far. As we delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, let's explore one of the most intriguing aspects of life in this ancient culture: education and learning. In ancient Mesopotamia, education was a privilege reserved for the wealthy and the priests. The wealthy, with their vast resources and influence, could afford to send their children to learn the skills they needed to succeed in life. These skills were not just limited to reading and writing, but also included arithmetic, literature, and even music. The priests, on the other hand, were the guardians of knowledge and wisdom. They spent their days studying the sacred texts, learning the intricacies of the divine, and passing on their knowledge to the next generation. But what about the ordinary people? Did they have access to education? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Education was not a priority for the average Mesopotamian. They were more concerned with survival, with putting food on the table and a roof over their heads. However, there were some exceptions. Scribes and scholars, who were responsible for recording the laws, business transactions, and literary works of the time, were trained in writing, arithmetic, and literature. These individuals were highly respected in society and played a crucial role in preserving the knowledge and culture of ancient Mesopotamia. One of the most significant literary works of ancient Mesopotamia is the Epic of Gilgamesh. This epic poem, which tells the story of a king's quest for immortality, is considered to be one of the earliest surviving works of literature in the world. It's not just a story, though, it's also a teaching tool. The Epic of Gilgamesh contains wisdom, advice, and lessons that were meant to be passed down to future generations. It's a testament to the importance of education and learning in ancient Mesopotamia, and a reminder that knowledge has always been a powerful tool for personal growth and development. But what did education look like in ancient Mesopotamia? How did people learn? The answer is that education was often informal, taking place in the home, in the marketplace, or even in the temple. Children learned by observation, by watching their parents and elders at work. They learned by listening to stories, by hearing the wisdom of the priests and sages. They even learned by participating in rituals and ceremonies, which were often used to pass on cultural knowledge and traditions. One of the most famous examples of ancient Mesopotamian education is the school of Sargon the Great. Sargon, who ruled Babylon in the 23rd century BCE, was known for his love of learning and his commitment to education. He established a school where young men could come to learn the skills they needed to succeed in life. This school was not just a place of learning, but also a center of culture and intellectual inquiry. It was where the young men of Babylon could come to learn about the world, to discuss the big questions of the day, and to develop their own thoughts and ideas. But education in ancient Mesopotamia was not just about acquiring knowledge. It was also about developing character. The Mesopotamians believed that education should not just prepare individuals for success, but also for a life of virtue and moral character. They believed that education should help individuals to develop their intellect, their creativity, and their critical thinking skills. They believed that education should help individuals to become citizens of the world, to be responsible, to be compassionate, and to be wise. As we explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's clear that education and learning played a central role in the culture and society of this ancient civilization. From the wealthy and the priests to the ordinary people, education was a priority that was taken seriously. But what can we learn from this ancient culture? What can we apply to our own lives today? The answer is that education is still a powerful tool for personal growth and development. It's still a key to success, to happiness, and to a life of purpose and meaning. So, what do you think about education and learning in ancient Mesopotamia? Do you have any thoughts or observations that you'd like to share? Before we start, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts. Your input is valuable to us, and we'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation, and let's explore the fascinating world of ancient Mesopotamia together. In the next section, we'll be exploring the topic of healthcare and medicine in ancient Mesopotamia. We'll be looking at the ways in which the Mesopotamians approached health and wellness, and how they developed their understanding of the human body and the causes of disease. We'll also be examining the role of medicine in ancient Mesopotamian society, and how it was seen as a key to maintaining a healthy and balanced life. So, join us next time as we continue our journey through the world of ancient Mesopotamia. What life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, where the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed through the heart of the ancient world. It's a place that's often romanticized in history books and documentaries. But what was it really like to live in this fascinating region? As we delve into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, let's consider what life was like for the people who called this place home. Imagine walking through the bustling streets of ancient Mesopotamia, surrounded by the sounds of merchants hawking their wares, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, and the sight of people from all walks of life going about their daily business. It's easy to get caught up in the grandeur of cities like Babylon and the majesty of the Great Ziggurat, but let's take a step back and imagine what life was like for ordinary people. From the moment the sun rises over the ancient city, the sounds of activity fill the air. Merchants and traders set up their stalls, hawking their latest wares to the eager crowds. The smell of freshly baked bread wafts through the air, enticing passers-by to stop and sample the delicious treats. Meanwhile, the sounds of hammering and chiseling echo through the streets as craftsmen work on their latest projects. As we explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, let's consider before we start, like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. Your input is invaluable in helping us create engaging content that's relevant to your interests. So, what do you think about ancient Mesopotamia? Have you ever been fascinated by the history of this ancient civilization? Let us know in the comments below. Now, let's dive deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia and explore the art and culture that define this fascinating region. One of the most striking aspects of Mesopotamian art is the use of intricate carvings, frescoes, and pottery. These beautiful works of art not only showcase the skill and craftsmanship of the ancient Mesopotamians, but also provide a glimpse into their daily lives and spiritual practices. Take, for example, the stunning reliefs on the Ishtar Gate in Babylon. These intricate carvings depict a range of mythological creatures, including lions, bulls, and dragons, all of which were considered sacred in Mesopotamian culture. The Ishtar Gate is not just an impressive work of art. It's also a testament to the ingenuity and skill of the ancient Mesopotamians, who were able to create such intricate carvings using only stone and metal tools. But Mesopotamian art wasn't just limited to carvings and frescoes. The use of cylinder seals, which were small stone or metal objects used to stamp impressions onto clay or other materials, was also widespread. These seals often featured intricate designs and motifs, which were used to signify ownership, status, and occupation. They're a fascinating glimpse into the daily lives of ancient Mesopotamians, who used these seals to authenticate documents, mark goods, and even sign their names. As we explore the world of Mesopotamian art and culture, it's clear that music, dance, and theater played a significant role in the lives of ancient Mesopotamians. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest surviving works of literature, features a range of musical and theatrical elements, including songs, dances, and dramatic performances. These performances were often used to celebrate important events, such as the coronation of a new king or the completion of a major building project. But music and dance weren't just limited to special occasions. They were an integral part of everyday life in ancient Mesopotamia, with people from all walks of life participating in musical and theatrical performances. In fact, the ancient Mesopotamians were known to have a range of musical instruments, including the lyre, the harp, and the flute, which were used to create a range of different sounds and rhythms. As we explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's clear that art and culture played a significant role in the lives of the people who lived there. From the intricate carvings and frescoes that adorned the walls of temples and palaces to the music and dance that filled the streets and homes, Mesopotamian art and culture were a defining feature of this fascinating region. And as we continue our journey through the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we'll be exploring even more of the fascinating culture, history, and daily life of this incredible civilization. If you're new here, consider subscribing to our channel for more engaging content about ancient history. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so be sure to comment below. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and family who might be interested in ancient Mesopotamia. Your engagement is invaluable in helping us create content that's relevant to your interests. In the next section, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of education and learning in ancient Mesopotamia. We'll be looking at the role of education in ancient Mesopotamian society, the types of knowledge that were valued, and the ways in which people learned and passed on their knowledge. So be sure to tune in for that. As we continue our journey through the cradle of civilization, let's take a step back and imagine what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. This ancient world, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed through the heart of the ancient world, was a place of great wonder and discovery. From the bustling streets of Ur to the majestic ziggurats of Babylon, ancient Mesopotamia was a region of incredible diversity and complexity. But as we delve deeper into this fascinating world, we're forced to confront one of the most fundamental questions of human existence. What happens after we die? In ancient Mesopotamia, the afterlife was a place of great mystery and fear. The people of this ancient world believed that the afterlife was a place of judgment, where the gods decided one's fate. This was a terrifying prospect, as the gods were known to be capricious and cruel. In fact, the Mesopotamians believed that the gods would weigh the heart of the deceased against the feather of truth, with those who were found wanting being devoured by the monster Ammit. This was a fate worse than death itself, and it's no wonder that the Mesopotamians took great care to ensure that their dead were properly buried and provided for in the afterlife. When it came to burial practices, the Mesopotamians varied greatly across different regions. In some cities, like Ur, the tombs were elaborate and ornate, with intricate carvings and sculptures. These tombs were often built to resemble the ziggurats that dotted the Mesopotamian landscape, and were meant to provide a safe passage for the deceased into the afterlife. In other cities, like Babylon, the tombs were simpler and less ornate, but still provided a comfortable resting place for the deceased. And in some cases, like in the ancient city of Eridu, the tombs were even built into the sides of hills, providing a natural and secure location for the dead. But burial practices weren't the only way that the Mesopotamians prepared for the afterlife. They also used a variety of funerary objects to help guide the deceased on their journey. One of the most common of these objects was the clay figurine, which was often placed in the tomb to provide companionship for the deceased. These figurines were often made to resemble the gods and goddesses of the Mesopotamian pantheon, and were meant to provide a sense of comfort and security for the deceased. Other funerary objects, like jewelry and other personal items, were also placed in the tomb to help the deceased navigate the afterlife. In addition to these objects, the Mesopotamians also believed in the importance of ritual and ceremony in the afterlife. They believed that the deceased needed to be properly prepared for their journey, and that this could be achieved through a series of elaborate rituals and ceremonies. These rituals might include the use of incense and other fragrances, the performance of specific dances and songs, and even the sacrifice of animals to provide food and drink for the deceased. By performing these rituals, the Mesopotamians hoped to ensure a safe and successful passage for the deceased into the afterlife. But despite these elaborate preparations, the Mesopotamians were still faced with the uncertainty of the afterlife. They knew that the gods were capricious and cruel, and that the outcome of the weighing of the heart was never guaranteed. This uncertainty must have been a source of great anxiety and fear for the Mesopotamians, and it's no wonder that they took great care to ensure that their dead were properly provided for in the afterlife. As we continue our journey through ancient Mesopotamia, we're forced to confront the reality of the afterlife. It's a place of great mystery and fear, where the gods decide one's fate. But it's also a place of great wonder and discovery, where the Mesopotamians sought to navigate the unknown and ensure a safe passage for the deceased. Whether through elaborate tombs, funerary objects, or ritual and ceremony, the Mesopotamians took great care to prepare for the afterlife. And as we continue to explore this fascinating world, we're reminded of the importance of understanding and respecting the cultures and traditions of the past. Before we dive into the next section, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. What do you think was the most fascinating aspect of this ancient world? How did the Mesopotamians prepare for the afterlife? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And if you're new to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on our latest videos and content. We're always excited to hear from our viewers and engage in conversations about the fascinating world of ancient Mesopotamia. As we continue our exploration of ancient Mesopotamia, we'll be diving into the world of art and architecture. From the majestic ziggurats of Babylon to the intricate carvings of the palace at Nineveh, the art and architecture of ancient Mesopotamia was truly breathtaking. But before we get started, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible diversity and complexity of this ancient world. From the bustling streets of Ur to the majestic ziggurats of Babylon, ancient Mesopotamia was a place of great wonder and discovery. And as we continue to explore this fascinating world, we're reminded of the importance of understanding and respecting the cultures and traditions of the past. But before we move on, let's take a moment to acknowledge the incredible achievements of the Mesopotamians. From the development of writing to the creation of the first cities, the Mesopotamians were truly a remarkable people. And as we continue to explore their world, we're reminded of the importance of preserving and honoring the cultures and traditions of the past. Whether through art, architecture, or literature, the Mesopotamians left behind a rich and vibrant legacy that continues to inspire and educate us today. And as we continue to explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we'll be examining the intricacies of their art and architecture. From the use of clay and stone to the creation of intricate carvings, the Mesopotamians were master craftsmen and artists. And as we delve deeper into their world, we're reminded of the importance of understanding and appreciating the cultures and traditions of the past. Whether through the creation of art or the development of new technologies, the Mesopotamians were a truly remarkable people, and their legacy continues to inspire and educate us today. Finally, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible diversity and complexity of ancient Mesopotamia. From the bustling streets of Ur to the majestic ziggurats of Babylon, this ancient world was a place of great wonder and discovery. And as we continue to explore this fascinating world, we're reminded of the importance of understanding and respecting the cultures and traditions of the past. Whether through art, architecture, or literature, the Mesopotamians left behind a rich and vibrant legacy that continues to inspire and educate us today. People often wonder what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, a region that's considered the cradle of civilization. From the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowing through the heart of the ancient world to the bustling cities of Ur and Babylon, this ancient world was filled with wonder and discovery. But, as fascinating as it may seem, life in ancient Mesopotamia was far from perfect. In fact, it was marked by great power struggles, conquests, and decline. As we explore the rise and fall of ancient Mesopotamian cities, let's consider what it would be like to live in this complex and dynamic world. Before we start, if you're new to our channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. Your insights will help shape our future content and inspire others to join the conversation. Now, Let's dive into the fascinating story of ancient Mesopotamian cities. Imagine walking through the streets of ancient Ur, one of the most significant cities in the region. As you make your way through the narrow alleys, you're surrounded by towering ziggurats, which serve as temples and centers of worship. The air is thick with the smell of clay, bronze, and other metals, as artisans and craftsmen work tirelessly to create the finest goods in the land. But despite its grandeur, Ur was not immune to the forces of power and conquest. It was eventually conquered by the Babylonians, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the history of ancient Mesopotamia. As we explore the rise and fall of ancient Mesopotamian cities, it's essential to understand the role of the Babylonian Empire under the leadership of Nebuchadnezzar. This was a major player in ancient Mesopotamia, known for its military prowess, administrative efficiency, and cultural achievements. The Babylonians built some of the most impressive cities in the region, including the famous Ishtar Gate, which served as a symbol of their power and grandeur. But despite their achievements, the Babylonians were not immune to the forces of decline and fall. As the Assyrians and Persians began to rise to power, the Babylonian Empire was eventually conquered, marking the end of an era in ancient Mesopotamia. One of the most significant events in the history of ancient Mesopotamia was the conquest of the Assyrians. Under the leadership of Ashurbanipal, the Assyrians had built a vast empire that stretched from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. But as they continued to expand their territories, they eventually faced resistance from the Babylonians. The two empires clashed in a series of brutal battles, resulting in the eventual defeat of the Assyrians and the rise of the Babylonians to power. However, the Babylonians were not the only major players in ancient Mesopotamia. The Persians, under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, also played a significant role in shaping the region's history. In 539 BCE, the Persians conquered Babylon, marking the end of the Babylonian Empire and the beginning of the Achaemenid Empire. This marked a significant turning point in the history of ancient Mesopotamia, as the Persians brought a new era of cultural and administrative achievements to the region. As we reflect on the rise and fall of ancient Mesopotamian cities, it's essential to consider the impact of conquest and decline on the people who lived in these cities. The constant struggle for power and survival took a toll on the inhabitants, who were often forced to adapt to new rulers and systems of governance. Despite the challenges they faced, the people of ancient Mesopotamia continued to thrive, creating some of the most impressive cities and cultural achievements in the ancient world. In conclusion, the rise and fall of ancient Mesopotamian cities was a complex and dynamic process, marked by great power struggles, conquests, and decline. From the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers to the bustling cities of Ur and Babylon, this ancient world was filled with wonder and discovery. As we continue to explore the history of ancient Mesopotamia, let's remember the significance of this region in shaping the course of human civilization. Before we move on, be sure to like and subscribe for more educational content on ancient history and culture. Your support helps us create engaging and informative videos that inspire others to learn and explore the world around them. In the next section, we'll explore the fascinating world of ancient Mesopotamian trade and commerce, where merchants and traders played a crucial role in shaping the region's economy and culture. Stay tuned for more. As we delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's hard not to be fascinated by the ingenuity, creativity, and sheer determination of its people. This was a world where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed through the heart of the ancient world, creating a fertile crescent that would become the cradle of civilization. In this section, we'll explore the lasting legacy of ancient Mesopotamia and how its innovations, literary works, and societal developments continue to shape our world today. Before we start, let's take a moment to consider what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. Imagine waking up to the sound of merchants hawking their goods in the bustling streets of Babylon or Ur, the smell of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, and the sun shining brightly overhead. This was a world of contrasts, where the mighty rivers and canals brought life-giving water to the desert, but also posed a constant threat of flooding and devastation. As we explore the legacy of ancient Mesopotamia, let's begin with its innovations. The Sumerians, Babylonians, and Assyrians were master inventors and problem solvers, and their creations continue to have a lasting impact on human history. One of the most significant innovations was the development of writing. In around 3500 BCE, the Sumerians created cuneiform, a system of writing that consisted of wedge-shaped characters inscribed on clay tablets. This invention allowed for the creation of complex societies, trade, and governance, and paved the way for the development of literature, poetry, and other forms of written expression. But writing was just the beginning. The wheel, another Mesopotamian innovation, revolutionized transportation and trade, allowing goods to be moved more efficiently and over longer distances. This, in turn, facilitated the growth of cities and the development of complex societies. The wheel also had a profound impact on warfare, as armies could now move more quickly and easily, and siege engines could be built to breach city walls. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest surviving works of literature, is another testament to the literary genius of ancient Mesopotamia. This epic poem tells the story of Gilgamesh, a king who embarks on a quest for immortality and explores themes of friendship, love, and the human condition. The Epic of Gilgamesh has had a profound influence on literature and art, influencing works such as Homer's Odyssey and the Bible. But the impact of ancient Mesopotamia goes beyond literature and innovation. The study of ancient Mesopotamia also provides valuable insights into the development of modern societies. By examining the social structures, governance systems, and cultural practices of ancient Mesopotamia, we can gain a deeper understanding of how civilizations evolve and grow. This, in turn, can inform our own decisions about governance, education, and cultural development. As we continue to explore the legacy of ancient Mesopotamia, let's take a moment to reflect on what we can learn from this ancient world. What can we apply to our own lives and societies? How can we build on the innovations and achievements of ancient Mesopotamia to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come? But before we dive deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, let's take a moment to consider the bigger picture. What does the legacy of ancient Mesopotamia mean for us today? How can we harness the ingenuity and creativity of this ancient civilization to drive progress and innovation in our own world? As you continue to explore the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we want to hear from you. What do you think is the most significant legacy of this ancient civilization? How can we apply its innovations and achievements to our own lives and societies? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on ancient Mesopotamia and other fascinating topics. As we conclude this section, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible achievements of ancient Mesopotamia. From the development of writing and the wheel to the creation of the Epic of Gilgamesh, this ancient civilization has left an indelible mark on human history. By studying and learning from ancient Mesopotamia, we can gain a deeper understanding of how civilizations evolve and grow, and we can apply its innovations and achievements to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. Before we move on to our next topic, let's take a moment to consider what's next. What's the next step in our journey through the world of ancient Mesopotamia? How can we continue to explore and learn from this fascinating civilization? Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia and explore its many secrets and wonders. As we venture into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's easy to get caught up in the mystique of a bygone era. What did life look like for the people who lived in this vibrant region, considered the cradle of civilization? Were they primitive and uncivilized, or was this a time of significant cultural and intellectual achievement? To answer these questions, let's take a journey through the history of ancient Mesopotamia and dispel some common misconceptions about this fascinating civilization. Before we start, if you're new to our channel, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay up to date on all our latest videos. And, as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's dive in and explore what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia. The ancient Mesopotamians were often stereotyped as being primitive and uncivilized. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, this was a time of significant cultural and intellectual achievement. The Mesopotamians were skilled architects, engineers, and artists who built some of the most impressive cities of their time. Babylon, and Nineveh were just a few of the many cities that flourished in ancient Mesopotamia, each with its own unique culture and traditions. One of the most impressive achievements of the ancient Mesopotamians was their understanding of mathematics and astronomy. They were able to accurately calculate the movements of the stars and planets, and even developed a sexagesimal base 60 system that we still use today for measuring time and angles. This level of mathematical sophistication was unmatched in ancient times, and it's a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the Mesopotamians. The ancient Mesopotamians were also skilled writers and poets. They developed cuneiform, one of the earliest forms of writing, which allowed them to record their thoughts, stories, and histories. The Epic of Gilgamesh, which dates back to ancient Mesopotamia, is one of the earliest surviving works of literature and tells the story of a king who embarks on a quest for immortality. This epic poem has had a profound influence on literature and art throughout history, and it's a testament to the power of storytelling. Despite their many achievements, the ancient Mesopotamians were not without their challenges. The region was prone to droughts and famines, which often led to social and economic upheaval. The Mesopotamians also had to contend with the constant threat of war and invasion from neighboring tribes and empires. However, they were able to adapt and innovate in the face of these challenges, developing new technologies and strategies to ensure their survival. The study of ancient Mesopotamia helps us understand the complexities and nuances of human history. By examining the achievements and challenges of this civilization, we can gain a deeper understanding of the human experience and the ways in which different cultures have adapted and evolved over time. We can also learn from the successes and failures of the ancient Mesopotamians and apply these lessons to our own lives and communities. In the next section, we'll explore the daily life of ancient Mesopotamians, including their homes, food, clothing, and social customs. We'll also examine the role of women in ancient Mesopotamian society and the ways in which they contributed to the economy and culture of the region. So, stay tuned for more exciting insights into the world of ancient Mesopotamia. But before we go, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. We've seen how the ancient Mesopotamians were a sophisticated and cultured people who made significant contributions to mathematics, astronomy, literature, and art. We've also learned about the challenges they faced, including droughts, famines, and war. And we've seen how the study of ancient Mesopotamia can help us understand the complexities and nuances of human history. So, what do you think? Are there any other misconceptions about ancient Mesopotamia that you'd like to see us tackle in future videos? Let us know in the comments below. And, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting content on ancient history and culture. As we conclude this section, we leave you with a final thought. The ancient Mesopotamians were a remarkable people who left behind a rich legacy of art, literature, and culture. By studying their achievements and challenges, we can gain a deeper understanding of the human experience and the ways in which different cultures have adapted and evolved over time. And who knows, perhaps one day, we'll uncover even more secrets about this fascinating civilization. As we come to the end of our journey through the world of ancient Mesopotamia, it's hard not to be amazed by the complexity and depth of this fascinating civilization. From the towering ziggurats to the bustling marketplaces, life in ancient Mesopotamia was a rich tapestry of culture, politics, and innovation. The people who lived here were a testament to human ingenuity, creating some of the earliest written laws, developing sophisticated irrigation systems, and crafting exquisite works of art that have stood the test of time. As we reflect on what life was like in ancient Mesopotamia, we start to realize just how much this civilization has shaped the world we live in today. One of the most striking things about ancient Mesopotamia was the sheer diversity of its people. From the Sumerians to the Babylonians, the Akkadians to the Assyrians, each city-state had its own unique culture, language, and traditions. And yet, despite these differences, they were all connected by a shared sense of community and a deep reverence for the gods. The ancient Mesopotamians believed that the gods had created the world and that humans were responsible for maintaining the cosmic order. This sense of responsibility was reflected in their laws, their art, and even their architecture, as they sought to create buildings and monuments that would last for eternity. But what was life like for the average person in ancient Mesopotamia? How did they live, work, and play in this ancient world? As we explore the daily lives of the ancient Mesopotamians, we start to see a picture of a society that was both familiar and alien. They lived in cities that were often surrounded by walls, with narrow streets and crowded marketplaces. They worked as farmers, traders, craftsmen, and soldiers, and they worshipped a pantheon of gods and goddesses who were believed to have control over the forces of nature. They even had a concept of time that was based on a sexagesimal system, with 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. This obsession with numbers and measurement was reflected in their mathematics, astronomy, and even their art, which often featured intricate geometric patterns and symbolic codes. As we delve deeper into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, we start to realize just how much they contributed to our modern world. From the invention of the wheel to the development of writing, the ancient Mesopotamians were true pioneers who paved the way for future generations. They created some of the earliest known examples of literature, including the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is still studied and admired today. They even had a concept of human rights, as reflected in the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest known examples of a written law code. And, as we've seen throughout the series, their legacy can be seen in everything from the modern city to the way we communicate with each other. So, what can we take away from this journey through ancient Mesopotamia? Firstly, we can see that this civilization was far more complex and sophisticated than we often give it credit for. They were a people of great ingenuity and creativity, who created some of the most lasting and impressive achievements of the ancient world. Secondly, we can see that their legacy continues to shape our world today, from the way we govern ourselves to the way we communicate with each other. And, finally, we can see that there is still so much to learn and discover about this fascinating civilization. And that's why we invite you to continue exploring the world of ancient Mesopotamia with us. As we close this series, we want to thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of ancient Mesopotamia. We hope that you've learned something new and interesting, and that you've been inspired to learn more about this fascinating civilization. If you have any thoughts or questions about what we've covered, please don't hesitate to share them with us in the comments below. And if you want to continue learning about ancient history and culture, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of our latest videos. Before we start, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts on what you'd like to learn about ancient Mesopotamia. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share it with your friends and family. We'll be creating more content on ancient history and culture, so stay tuned for future videos. Let's keep exploring the world of ancient Mesopotamia together.